Please just try to ignore all the background noise. A bunch of planes have been flying overhead, and my chickens won't stop squawking, and my dog keeps barking. And I'm gonna try to edit around it, but it's just a lot. As someone who grew up getting a lot of accelerated reading awards, I've been waiting for reading to be cool again for so long, and it never has been. I mean, people will say, oh, it's cool that you like still read to me, but they have no desire to do it themselves. And I think part of that is that it's hard to know what to read. I had the hardest time like finding my reading style when I transitioned from a kid to an adult, because I used to be really into like the YA series, was like a huge Percy Jackson kid, so like that was what I read. And then once I became an adult, I was like, well, what do I read now? And I finally kind of nailed down like what I like. I still read bad books all the time, but I thought I would share like 20-ish books I would recommend if you want to have like a cool hot girl summer. These are books that are great to read by the pool, which I am next to the pool, by the way. It doesn't look like it because I couldn't figure out how to frame the shot. This is a swimsuit. That's what I'm going for here. Not that it really worked out. But yeah, they're books you can read by the pool. They're books you can read while looking mysterious in a coffee shop. And I've designated all my books into 4 categories to make them a little bit more simple to understand. There's confessional, nonfiction. There's my like romantic books. There's like male manipulator / classics. And my last category, and one of my favorites, oh my god girl, what are you doing? So we'll start with that one. So this is a category of books where it's got a main character, usually female, who just does insane things and you're like, what the heck is going on? But you're just along for the ride. The first I have is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. This book is insane. Basically it's about a food critic who also eats people. It's wild. It's so good though. I read the whole thing, I think in like one day. It's very inappropriate. Like I wouldn't recommend it if you're like under, I don't know, 16 probably. Are those cicadas? Jeez. But it's so good. I like devoured it, pun intended. And yeah, just loved it. Highly recommend. Next is The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir. Which has a very like, not my feminist literature cover, but it's 3 different stories about 3 different women all going through some kind of like crazy life change that's making them feel kind of crazy. I think the biggest one is about a woman whose husband has like had an affair, and she's trying to like work through her feelings on that and be cool with it, and obviously she like can't handle it and she's freaking out. And yeah, I just highly recommend it. It's really good. Next, classic, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I read this book 2 summers ago, and at the time I didn't think I wanted to go to college, and I was dating a guy I was kind of like detached from, and I read this and I was like, oh no. It's basically about a girl with all the potential in the world who just doesn't know what to do with her life, and she starts going insane. And it kind of like woke me up, and I was like, I have to go to college, I have to do something. It's a really good book. It's haunting. It'll make you feel kind of weird, probably. It made me feel really weird, but I love it. I think, what's her name? The girl from 10 Things I Hate About You reads it, I'm pretty sure, in like one scene. So this is a cool girl book for sure. Okay, this next book is called Outline by Rachel Cusk. I read this because a poet I love, who will come up later, recommended it, and she basically said that nothing happens in it, but it's still very enthralling, which I agree with. Like, there's really no plot. It's just kind of a girl hanging out in Greece, I think. I don't even remember. I just remember liking it. Just very pleasant read, and yeah, it's kind of beachy, which is nice. And then this is a classic. None of these books are particularly deep cuts for the most part. They're just books that I think are really good intros into like more thoughtful fiction. This is My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which is like a classic. And yeah, this is a book about a girl who gets like addicted to sleeping pills and just kind of sleeps through her year basically. It's also very weird, also pretty inappropriate, less so than A Certain Hunger for sure, but it's really good. Another book that kind of like snaps you out of your funk, where you're like, I need to do something with my life. You want to be productive. Next, I want to do my male manipulator stack. I think calling it that is maybe a little bit harsh, but I don't know what else to call it. It's books that guys read and they're like, yeah, you know? First of all, I like a lot of these. I like all of them. I wouldn't be recommending them if I didn't, and I don't think they should be just for boys. I think we should be reading them too. First of all, Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. I also recommend the Sirens of Titan, which I also talked about in my last video, but I hadn't read yet. This book was amazing. I was like blown away by how good it was. Did not expect it to be as good as it was, but I still think if you're gonna read one Vonnegut book, it should be Slaughterhouse 5. This is my favorite one I've read, but this one is objectively the best, so make of that what you will. But yeah, he's just a super interesting writer, and all of his books are about this length, so not super long, and they're really colorful, which is fun. I hope y'all aren't expecting like really deep analysis. This is mostly me just chatting. I don't want to sit here and explain like the distinct sections of the books that I love, although let me see if I can flip to a random part of this that I like. Oh, I just flipped to my favorite little metaphor in this book, which is something I remember hearing as a little kid, and I got reminded about it. There is a riddle about a man who is locked in a room with nothing but a bed and a calendar, and the question is, how does he survive? The answer is, he eats dates from the calendar and drinks water from the springs of the bed. This comes very close to describing the genesis of magnum opus. The materials with which Noel Constant built his fortune were hardly more nourishing in themselves than calendar dates and bed springs. I just love that. I don't know why, but it's just like, you're taking something metaphorical and making it literal, which I always think is really cool. And that, I mean, Kurt Vonnegut didn't invent that riddle, but still, I love it. Okay, next is Dante's Inferno. I still need to read the full Divine Comedy. I have a copy of it, but I just haven't read it yet. But I read Inferno first, and I read it while listening to Hosier's album that's based on Inferno, which is a good experience. I recommend that. It's tough to read. You really got to take advantage of the like endnotes, like the footnotes and stuff. But it's super interesting, and it makes you feel really smart to be able to read it. Next, we got Norwegian Wood. This book is weird. He writes women weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of like the jokes that people make about how men write women. He kind of embodies a lot of them. But this story is still beautiful. His other one that I read, I couldn't get past it. It was a little too weird. But this one wasn't that bad. It's set, I think, in the 60s in Tokyo, and it's kind of about this guy and like a bunch of different romantic entanglements and stuff. And it just kind of speaks to being young and inexperienced and, you know, freaking out. Next, this is a male manipulator classic, The Stranger by Albert Camus. I love Camus so much. My favorite book of his is The Fall, which I don't have with me because I forgot, but I lended it to someone and I never got it back, so I need to get that back. And, I mean, this book is about a guy who kills someone on a beach, so, I mean, it kind of works for the little beach theme. Yeah, this is just another book that'll make you feel kind of smart, and it's like 120 pages, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 123 pages, so you'll get through it nice and fast, which is always fun. And then on the flip side, we have Gone with the Wind. I don't know if this book is considered like problematic or not. I wouldn't blame anyone if they did think it is, but I don't know. I think it's a really good book. I've read it twice. I read it once in like 7th or 8th grade, which was a little young, and then like just a couple years ago. But it's such a good book. It's long. It's 960 pages, and like this is the font size, and this is, I mean, it's a big book. I know this one's beat up. We've had it for a really long time, but it's a great book. If you want something that you're going to be reading for like a month or two, I would really recommend it. It's taught me a lot about how people act in times of crisis, problematic elements or no. Okay, this next stack is romantic books. This is a short section, but first we have Like Water for Chocolate, which is such a good book. The cover makes it look like it's a cookbook, and it kind of is actually. Basically, each chapter has a recipe at the beginning of it, and then throughout the story they kind of incorporate that recipe into it. It's a kind of magic realism type thing, like not full magic, but like, for example, the main character in it, she's baking a wedding cake, but she's so sad that she cries into the cake, and then when everyone eats it they start crying, like that kind of magic. Reminds me a lot of like 100 Years of Solitude, like that kind of thing. But it's just a beautiful book. It makes me feel so warm and fuzzy. It's like comfort food in a book, so love it. Next is The Unbearable Lightness of Being. He has a very distinct style. This is romantic both in the sense of it's about romantic entanglements, and also it's just written in a very romantic way. It's a little heady. Like, I definitely had to like focus when I was reading it because sometimes you're like, what is he talking about? But it's very good. And then the last two books are both Sally Rooney books. We got Normal People, of course, and then Conversations with Friends. Normal People is the Sally Rooney book. This book wrecked me when I read it for the first time. So good. And it's, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It's about a couple that kind of falls in and out of love with each other over the course of several years in like high school and college. But it's just beautiful. Her writing style does take some time to get used to. One thing she does is she doesn't use quotation marks with dialogue, which can be like kind of exhausting to read at first. But it's so worth it. This book is so beautiful. Yeah, I love it so much. And then she also has this book, Conversations with Friends. All of her books are kind of about the same thing, and that there's always people falling in and out of love with each other. And this one's similar. The only thing about this one is, well, I think this book is better. This book is a little more summery. Like, it just feels more like a summer read. I think they go to Spain for a while and stuff, so it just like feels more beachy. I think that angle is about the same as it was before. I don't know. So these are my confessional books. First off, I'm gonna put these two together. The White Album by Joan Didion and Black Swans by Eve Babbitt. They even kind of look the same. These two are like, if I could explain it in like 2025 terms, it's like this is Lorde and this is Charlie XCX. Like, I would love to make a Girl So Confusing edit to these two. Joan Didion was a very serious author living in LA. She wrote in more of critical terms about the kind of like Tinseltown aspects of Southern California. Eve Babbitt's had nothing bad to say about any part of it, which both are good and both are bad. Like, I love how romantic she is, but also she ignores things that were not so good. She doesn't. I love both of these books. This one's a little bit more easy to read because it's so fluffy and light. It's pure joy in a book. Very wish fulfillment. She was a very interesting person. She kind of groupied for, oh gosh, what band? The Doors. And she knew a bunch of like different famous rock stars and stuff. And then this book is a little bit more complicated. Not even, it's just a little more personal and neutral. But I love how both of them write, and I think they're both great, and I miss them both a lot. This next one is called Everything I Know About Love. This was recommended to me by a couple people, and I thought it was cute. It's not as difficult to read as some of these other ones, but it's a very cute story about a girl growing up. I think it kind of starts when she's like 15 or 16 and then ends in her late 20s, I want to say, and kind of goes through her life, and it's very cute. She lives in London. It's like a British author, and it's also very wish fulfillment-y. Next is So Sad Today by Melissa Broder. She's a fascinating author. I've read multiple of her books. I don't always love them, but I love her like vibe. I love that she writes stuff that is so specific to her. I can't imagine her books being written by anyone else, and this book is no exception. This book is also very like, whoa, like, whoa, you know, and she talks about some crazy stuff in it, but I adore it. I think it's so interesting. I remember just like hugging it when I read it because I was like, this is so real, and it kind of felt like I was talking to like a wise older woman when I was reading it. She's not old, but she's like older than me. She's like in her 40s. Okay, one of the only guys in this category of books is John Green with the Anthropocene, I don't know how to pronounce that, but this book, the Anthropocene Reviewed. This is a series of essays based around rating things, random stuff. Like, he rates the Mountain Goats, which is his favorite band, so obviously he gives them a 5 out of 5. He rates the invention of teddy bears. I think they get like a 3 out of 5. And using that to explore the hidden histories of things and also like greater truths about the meaning of life and stuff. And it's great. It's both good for learning fun random facts and also for feeling both happy and sad about the state of things. So, really good book. I feel bad I never read John Green in high school or middle school because I thought I had problems with The Fault in Our Stars. I thought that book was kind of dumb, like in my middle school brain, so I was like, oh, I don't think I like his stuff, and now I regret it because this book was amazing, so I don't know. And I have 3 poetry collections. First, this is Sappho Poetry Collection, Stung with Love. I wouldn't say this one particularly is the best collection. I mean, all of her poems are fragments now, so get whichever one you want. I really love Sappho. Her words are very like ornamental and beautiful, and I think the fact that there's so much gone from what she wrote adds a lot of appeal. So, next is Crush by Richard Sykin. I don't know how to pronounce this. I should have looked this up before I did it. But this is very conversational poetry. He's a super interesting author. If you've ever seen a really deep tweet, it's probably his Twitter. He's super cool, and he writes about young love in a really cool way. And I really appreciate him. And the last one is Closer Baby Closer by Savannah Brown. I love Savannah Brown. My first ever video was me reading one of her poems. I think she's amazing. She's like my #1 inspiration for YouTube, probably. There's a couple others, but she's up there for sure. And this collection especially is so good. It's all love poems. Like love poems. Some of them aren't. But I love it. I read it I think 3 times now. I read it twice in a row. Just so interesting. I have so many like lines from this that I've taken pictures of and posted, and yeah, I just love her so much. So that is my collection. I know that was a lot. I hope it kind of made sense. And I hope you check some of these books out. I would say if I had to recommend like one from each pile, I would say, oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Now I have to pick one. I would say, in terms of what you should actually read, not my favorites, but which one like I think, you know, the royal you would like, would be Normal People, Black Swans, A Certain Hunger. It's just so interesting. And then probably Slaughterhouse 5, because The Stranger's a little short and Gone with the Wind's a little long. But yeah, if any of you have read any of these books or are going to read any of them, let me know. I would love to talk about them. And yeah, I'll probably do another version of this in the fall with like cozy books, like Little Women and stuff like that. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a good summer. I hope it's not too hot where you are. It's really hot here, which is why I'm like sweating. I was trying to speed through a little bit, and also the filter won't stop turning on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week. I think I'm gonna do a vlog, but I won't tell you of what yet. We'll see if it happens. I always mean to do vlogs and then I forget to film, but we'll see what happens. Okay, happy reading. Make it cool. Reading should be cool. I'll see you later. Bye.